Liz Talk. Talk that makes you think. Call Liz Dalton now at 549-TALK. That's 706-549-8255.
Today we're talking about, guess what? Love and relationships. I'm Liz Dalton. Good morning and welcome into Liz Talk on this Monday, February the 14th, 2011, Valentine's Day. Well, if you want to feel the love, at least you've got good weather today and the rest of the week. But also, Valentine's Day brings a lot of disappointment to a lot of people. So I hope that if you're expecting something big, just to adjust your expectations and expect less, you might get more. You know, there are a lot of people looking for love, so if you're looking for that perfect man or perfect woman, you can rest assured they do not exist. So celebrate your relationship and enjoy the day. Do something sweet and special. How about writing a love letter? You know, that is a lost art. And so I am going to be re-airing some segments on relationships today. Then we'll have time for you to call in with your love story at the end of the show. And we will go straight to that interview right now. Right now, though, we're turning our attention to something that, interestingly enough, has come up in conversation over the past week or two, at least 2 or 3 times, just amongst people I was talking about. And that is dating after 50. My guest to talk about that this morning is JoAnn Oppenheimer, and she has chronicled the tragedy and triumphs of 41 women ages 50 and over in getting back into the dating scene. Good morning, JoAnn.
Well, good morning, Liz. How are things in Atlanta?
We're right outside of Atlanta in Athens, and they are great. Too hot, but other than that, they're all is well. You should come visit sometime.
I've never been to Atlanta other than the airport, and I want to. But
Good.
I come from very hot climate, Las Vegas.
Oh my goodness! You absolutely. I'm sure I've never been there either, but
well, come on and visit me.
I will. We'll do reciprocal. But thank you for joining me this morning, particularly from your side of the country. I'm interested to know why you chronicled 41 women instead of 40 or 50.
Well, I have to be honest with you. I invited hundreds of women all over the United States who had lived very traumatic lives and were willing to undress emotionally and tell a true story about their life to join me in Potpourri for and about women. And believe it or not, probably a couple hundred turned me down because they said it was too painful to relive the past. But I had 40 plus myself, I'm the 41st, who said, yes, I will do that. And I have to tell you, even though the book is Potpourri for and about women, and it just came out, it's a newly released, published book, men are enjoying it. Men are mesmerized by this because they're learning a lot. In fact, I've had a lot of men say, when are you going to do Potpourri for and about men and sign me up? I'll be in your book.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes, but you know something, Liz? Do you really know what's going on in the house next door to you? You see these lovely people and, hi, Liz, how are you today? Have a good day, and they go about their business and you go about yours. But do any of us really and truly know when that door is closed what's going on? And we don't.
Exactly.
And, yes, and these stories are all true. I'm sure they were very painful. And everyone who is reading this, the first printing was just in May, so you're hearing about this when it's brand new.
Yes.
And I'm very excited because I have a national publicist who thinks it's so good. She sent a book to Oprah and Ellen DeGeneres and The View and Good Morning America.
Great.
And may I give a website with this if anybody would be interested in knowing more about the book?
Sure.
It's www.author JoAnn, JoAnn, Oppenheimer, O, P as in Paul, P as in Paul, E, N as in Nancy, HEI, M as in Mary, ER.com.
I will have that.
JoAnn, Yes, and
Yeah.
maybe if your listeners didn't catch that, they can call you back.
Absolutely. We'll have it on our website at 1340wgau.com. Well, JoAnn, what prompted you to write Potpourri for and about women? I realize that you have been married a couple of times. You're a widow. You're
More
a mother.
Than that.
Oh,
More
really?
Than that, Liz. Liz, I have to tell you something. I can't even believe it myself when I think about it, because you know how life goes by.
Yes.
I am a grandmother now. I am not a young girl. I think I'm 40. I think I'm 40, but my daughter is.
Right.
I had 2 marriages in college, and I was raised in Kansas City, and I came from the part of the country that a nice girl refrained from sexual activities until she was married. And many times, because of that one reason, which is not true today in most cases,
Right.
We rushed into marriage because we thought that's what marriage was. And I was very young and very dumb. I was a sophomore in college. I was 19 years old and left school, which I later returned and graduated from college, to marry the wrong man. Then between my junior and senior year, I married another lovely, these are all educated, nice men, and he's the father of my children, 14 years older than I, which is a mistake. I think that's too much age difference, and our marriage ended in divorce 15 years later. He was extremely jealous, and why he would marry me, I don't know, because I had been crowned queen of the University of Missouri. So if you're an insecure person, don't marry a woman like Joanne Oppenheimer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't do that. If the whole student body voted me the queen, is that telling you something? And so in the meantime, and he was a loyal man, faithful man, all that. But I made poor choices.
Right.
I didn't marry people that really and truly were right for me.
And I think that's such an important point. So what did you learn from interviewing these 41 women that people should know when they are looking for love, but they're trying to find a right fit?
Well, I think, number one, it's very important to get to know the person very, very well. And I like to use an expression that when we meet someone, do not have rose-colored glasses on. And what I mean by that is that when we look across the dinner table at this person, are we looking and listening carefully to the person that person really is, or are we looking at a person that we're wanting that person to be?
Excellent point.
There's a big difference, Liz. And I was on a radio talk show recently when a man said to me, "Yes, JoAnn," and 6 months later, the woman says to me, "Boy, have you changed?" And he says, "No, I haven't. I'm the same person I was on the first date." And she says, "No, you're not." And he says, "Look, I am that person.
Right.
You were making me out to be someone else."
Well, do you think both men and women do that? They look at
Absolutely.
one or the other and say, "This is what I want you to be," and they convince themselves that they are. They get married, and in fact, they didn't change. They were always that way, but we've made them into something else. And why do we do that?
Absolutely, and I was guilty of it, and not anymore. I would never be, and I waited 15 years. I had 4 marriages, and I waited 15 years because I did not want a stepfather for my children. I'm finding all these families today with multiple parents and multiple grandparents sometimes work out, but sometimes they don't.
That's right.
And I feel sorry for the children. That's who I feel sorry for. But I will tell you this, there is hope as far as for everyone listening. Everyone in life will go through difficult times at some time. I don't know of anyone who goes through this life unscathed.
Right.
And I think it's that we have 2 choices in life. It's cope or don't cope.
Yes.
And if you're not going to cope, you're going to go in the corner, you're going to cry, you're going to moan, you're going to be depressed. And guess what you're going to do? You're going to find you're going to be alone because after a while, everyone has run away from you, including your family. When you learn to cope, you realize, okay, did anyone have a gun to my head when I made those decisions? No. Well, if they didn't have a gun to your head, it was your choice to
You're
say
right.
yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my attitude, and I tell this to a lot of young people. Please, please, please think carefully, and don't marry for the wrong reasons like I did. But it's very different today. I don't think many people today were like we were many years ago, back in the 50s.
Right.
And, but that all these women, I will tell you, who wrote these chapters, it turned out that they realized they could not continue to do what they were doing, and they either got out of the marriages or they changed their own attitudes and are living productive lives today.
I think that's important that you said these women changed their own attitudes, because I think you're right that a lot of women think that they don't have any choice, and all of a sudden when they gather that strength from within and learn that they do have choices, it makes all the difference. Can you give me an example of how someone can go about making a choice that changes their attitude, that then puts them in a relationship that they are happy in and is healthy?
Well, I have a very good example with one of my chapters. This woman married young and married a man. Well, I guess we would be calling people boys and girls when you're young.
Mm-hmm.
And they had children. And with time, she realized that he was an alcoholic. This social drinking was not social drinking. It really became a very necessity for him on a daily basis. And when people are alcoholics, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're saying, and they hurt the people that they love the most.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, because of the children, and that's what many women and men say, because of the children,
Right.
we're going to stay together, which I think is a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And she stayed with him many, many years until she couldn't take any more of it, then got divorced, and she had to change her attitude, and she did, that she was a worthwhile person, that she was a good person. It's not me, it's him. He's making me out to be a nobody and a bad person. And when she woke up and realized, it isn't me, I'm a nice person. I'm not a drinker. I'm treating the children right.
Right.
I even treat him right. She finally asked for a divorce, which he didn't want. They never
Right,
went
of
out.
course not. Yes.
Because you're their security blanket. Well, I am proud to say today she is married to a wonderful, wonderful man and has a beautiful life. And, we don't like to look back.
That's right.
But I have to tell you, this was a heart-wrenching story. I just gave a few highlights.
Yes.
But if anyone has lived with alcoholism, it is a challenge.
Yes, it is. And there's so many challenges in relationships across the board. And you bring up an interesting point of staying because of the children. We're going to continue our conversation with JoAnn Oppenheimer about finding love after 50. Her book is Potpourri for and about women. I'm Liz Dalton. This is Liz Talk on News Talk 1340 WGA.